Hi everybody, this is Rose of Sharon, and I'm back again with another movie review. I just recently saw Return of the Living Dead 2. There are actually 3 Returns of the Living Dead. And of course, you can see the second one pays a lot of tribute to the original Night of the Living Dead. There are some moments that you think, oh yeah, they copied that from the noir classic that we all know and love. I like the original, even though it was very serious and actually had some really good underlining themes that I think are very important and should be talked about. But in this, none of that can be found at all. It's not a commentary whatsoever. But it stands the test of time as being one of those campy 80s horror films that doesn't take itself seriously whatsoever. Now, you don't have to have seen the Return of the Living Dead to know what the plot of the second one is, because it carries on from the original Return of the Living Dead. It is hilarious. I mean, everything about this, even for the time, was really quite well done. And although it's kind of what I would consider good old-fashioned kind of dark humor done at the expense of satire and just tongue-in-cheek fun, there's a lot of good visual effects here that are animatronic that are very cheesy, but just really great. They're very enjoyable and fun. And one thing my brother said that was really funny, when you see the toxin infecting the entire cemetery area, you can see the lighting that was used, and then of course the rain, and they had to have that because if they were filming it in the dark, they would have captured absolutely zero action. So that's why it doesn't look realistic at all. The lighting is just really odd, and you can tell it's not natural. It's very unnatural. And as somebody who enjoys photography and just behind the scenes and knowing what I do about the magic of cinema, that even made me laugh more, understanding the technicality of it. So, I had heard of it before, and my coworker had suggested it, and I saw it on YouTube, and I thought, oh, it's free, so I can watch this with ads. And I watched it twice, and one day I liked it that much. It was that enjoyable. This is one of those films that is just absolutely bonkers in how hilarious it is, and over the top and overly dramatic, and you can tell that these actors were really good, well-known actors, and they just had to have so much fun. And one thing I really appreciate, other than the animatronics, is that the effects is one thing I really like, even, you know, given the time, for the time it was made. It's actually really impressive effects. So this could be redone as kind of an independent film, and I think it would do really well, because I think we take ourselves too seriously when it comes to zombie cinema. So having something a little bit kind of, you know, goofy and zany and just so very funny. I mean, the writing in this is really good. It is, you know, very comedically timed, and I appreciate all that. Honestly, it's just something that I really love as a cinephile. And yeah, it was probably a flop, but this is a cult classic, and it's easily seen as to why, because it harks on all the cliches, but even though it harkens on the cliches, it's still great. It's outstandingly great, especially as far as makeup is concerned. The makeup was just phenomenal, given the time when it was made. It was made in 1987. So I never saw this in the cinema. It was something that I missed completely. I only had seen Night of the Living Dead when I was young, so I missed out. I missed out on a lot of cult films of the 80s I think I probably would have loved. I saw a lot of the ones that we consider classics now. But I thought this was a lot of fun to see and enjoy. What can I say about this movie? I'm not going to say how they're killed, because that throws a cliche as far as zombie films are. Well, I don't think the kill shot was introduced until much later in the whole franchise of zombie movies that we've come to know and love today. Just the double tap to the head, because they have a different way of doing it. I'm not going to say what it is, because it's a huge plot point, and it's really kind of is funny and dark. Just amusing. And I also like to think that the music video Thriller took a lot of inspiration from this film. And if you've seen Thriller in the very beginning of when the trioxin leaks out into the cemetery, you think Thriller. I mean, I did. And I thought there had to be a connection. I don't know if there was or not, but if Michael Jackson was smart and probably knew quite a bit about the cult following, and then zombie films, well, horror films really got I think got a lot, excuse me, mouth not keeping up with brain, got a lot of good traction at the time. And like I said, that the 80s and 90s were just, you know, spectacular time to be alive, because we got some really kick butt cinema. I'm just saying, you know, I'm an Xer, but I agree, and I think a lot of people agree with that sentimentality. As far as the movie is concerned, I give it 2 thumbs way up, 5 stars hands down, even though Return of the Living Dead is probably considered a box office flop and a failure. But you can't hate on it. You really can't, even though it hits every cliche in the whole horror movie franchise. Understanding of horror movie logic, or lack of logic, or lack of common sense. It really hits hard on this. And of course, it leaves us with a it leaves us with an open end, which led to the Return of the Living Dead 3, which I haven't seen. But I don't think, as far as sequels are concerned, Return of the Living Dead 2 is better than the predecessor. Easily, and a lot of people concur with that sentimentality for obvious reasons. It's so much better. It's just so well done. The synthesized music in the background, the popular songs of the time that you just accentuate the soundtrack and make it all very so 1980s. The scene with the phone and calling on the phone, getting connected to the operator, you know, things we don't have anymore. There's a nostalgia there. And I think, as somebody coming from that era, it's something I can relate to, but something when people are older, didn't grow up in that era, like, what the heck's a landline? What the heck is, you know, what's this? Yeah, they don't understand, because, well, they don't have a reference point. They didn't grow up with it. So yeah, that makes sense, and makes us feel old. We're not. But it's a great film. If you like classic cinema, if you like special effects, especially for special effects, because here I think the special effects in this, some of them are very overdone for even more comedic effect, which just makes it all the better. And you can actually tell, you can say that one of the zombies actually had his tongue right behind where his mouth was, and it's so obvious that even though it was done that way, and they did it in a very frivolous way and a lot of fun, and you can tell that they were really having a lot of a lot of humor and just trying not to laugh at their lines and themselves. But I think they had a lot of joy in making it, because you could see, even though it was what I consider bad movie, but one that's done all in good fun and all just for the purpose of making something entertaining. It doesn't have to be so terribly in-depth, thought-provoking. No, you can do something for the basis of entertainment and still get a lot out of it, because this is a fun film. It really is. It's less about being, you know, frightened and scared, because the the prosthetics, the way that they're done, yeah, it's just it's funny. You just have to see it to believe it. I'm not gonna go into detail, but it's just a lot of, I know, this outrageous fun. So that's all I have to say about Return of the Living Dead 2. So until next time, live on and prosper. Ciao, Tizzy.